Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling bringing the Just in Time Pro Show. And for tonight, I'll be reviewing both AEW Rampage and Friday Night Smackdown. Let's get started with AEW Rampage. Alright, so AEW Rampage kicked off with the Tournament of Champions match. It was Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. So according to commentary, it was the fourth match between them. This was a good match. I wasn't expecting it to be anything less. So, oh my god, my favorite spot in this match is probably when Sammy Guevara tries to do the Three Amigos, but Darby Allin ends up stopping him. He even does the whole Eddie Guerrero thing, which I thought was hilarious. You know, it's always nice to see when wrestlers pay homage to Eddie Guerrero. So of course, Ty Conti is at ringside. Ty Mello is at ringside, and she puts herself between her and Darby, between Sammy and Darby Allin when he tried to do the dive into Sammy. And there was at one point where they were making out, and Sammy shoved her out of the way, and he caught Darby in a cutter, which I thought was pretty cool too. And she kept distracting him. Another favorite part that I like about this match is when he blew the kiss to Ty Mello, which he was just basically mocking them at that point. So he takes the ring off Sammy. Solo has joined the Bloodline. I'm so excited for him. We can all call this the fourth Samoan Horseman. I didn't even think about that. I'll talk more about that when I get to Friday Night Smackdown. But good point. So Anna JAS comes out. She causes a distraction. This allows for Sammy Guevara to give Darby Allin a low blow, and he lands on the skateboard, and he hits a GHT, and Sammy Guevara is victorious. Mind you, another part that I liked about this when Sammy did his own coffin drop. So Sammy Guevara moving on, and he will face Jon Moxley, and then Bryan Danielson is scheduled to face Chris Jericho. So very curious to see how we go from here. I honestly think it's gonna be probably, I don't know, we might get Moxley versus Bryan, we might get Sammy versus Jericho. Who knows? Then we get a Samoa Joe segment. And he comes out. He's been MIA for a while. He says that it feels so good to be back, and he owes us violence in the near future for being away for a while. And as ROH TV champion is in the house, he is open for business. Oh, Moxley will be winning that title back. Yeah, and the thing is, he'll be a 3-time AEW champion, but I honestly think Moxley is going to be a transitional champion. I think the plan was to do MJF versus Punk at Full Gear, but I think now it's going to be Moxley versus MJF. And that actually makes sense, because if you guys recall, when MJF was doing his whole political campaign gimmick, which I thought I liked, he called Jon Moxley a dictator, and Jon Moxley was the reason why MJF lost his undefeated streak. And I think MJF is going to take the title off of Moxley. I think MJF is going to get his win over Moxley. I wish Solo should get the Unified 30 Intercontinental title and the United States Championship, just like Roman and the Usos. Ooh, that's a good idea, but I don't think we need any more Unified titles. But I'll talk more about Solo when I get to SmackDown. All right, so Smart Mark Sturdy interrupts and says that while Samoa Joe was busy getting pampered in Hollywood, his boys were working. He hugs Josh Woods for saving him this past Wednesday from Wardlow. And Joe agrees that Smart Mark saying that Josh Woods does deserve a title match. And he agrees to give Josh Woods a title match tonight. But Smart Mark refuses and saying it's going to happen next week on Rampage. I will be yawning against them if I will see that happen. But good news is MJF is having his eye on whoever wins. Yeah. Wait, you'll be yawning if what happens? Jon Moxley becomes champion? You'll be yawning? All right. So we get Madison Rayne versus Serena Deeb. It's the professor versus the coach. This is actually a good match. I mean, Serena Deeb was shocked by the fact that Madison Rayne actually countered the detox. And now I'm not surprised Serena Deeb won. She won by submission. And the thing is, Serena Deeb is a great talent. She's a really great talent. And it sucks that they don't really use her as much. They don't. And she should be used more. Whatever happened to her professor's 5-minute challenge? Why not bring that back? Utilize her more. Yeah, I will be at Moxie Wins putting a segment that had Joe in it. So I like the match, and I'm not mad that Serena Deeb won, but I really think that they should use Serena Deeb more. Why wasn't Serena Deeb involved in because she wasn't top 5 ranked? Well, maybe she would be if like they used her more. Then we get a Jade Cargill and the Baddies segment, and she's saying that if you guys notice that they censored the word shit, they censored it. So Jade was saying that she basically did what she said she was going to do. It was just another day in the neighborhood. And she's not sure why everyone is so surprised. She did exactly what she was going to do. She says that if the women in the back want it, they can come and get it. And she says that Athena was number 37. You might as well make it up to 50. Why not? So I still think Chris Statlander is going to be the one to take the title off of Jade Cargill. If not Statlander, at this point, then I don't know who he could potentially be. But who do you guys think will take the title off of her? Do you agree with me? Is it going to be Chris Statlander, or is it going to be somebody else? All right. So QT and so we got a Powerhouse Hobbs segment. He's talking about how QT and the Factory couldn't do their job. He says, if you want something, you gotta do it yourself. Bet you're right about that. He was gonna put Ricky Starks 6 feet deep, and now he's gonna open the book of Hobbs. People are gonna find out why he's a beast, a killer, and the mammoth of Oaktown, California, Oakland. So obviously, the reason why he defeated Starks is because he's in line for a push. Marina Shafir would take the title off Jade. God, I hope not. No, I hope not. Don't put that evil out there, Ricky Bobby. Okay, how dare you put this out here, Ricky Bobby? Do you get that reference, Michael? All right, so obviously, as you guys know, before the main event, we always get like a segment between like a little promo between the two people in the main event or people in the main event. In this case, it's Claudio Castagnoli and Dax Harwood. So Regal starts to say that 13 years ago, he hired Dax from obscurity and knows exactly how good he is, knows every trick that Dax knows, and how excellent he is. But he is facing the ultimate competitor, and Regal's on his side. And Claudio says that Dax has his respect, and that Dax will eventually win singles titles, but just not tonight and not this title. And Dax says that he knows he's the underdog and knows the odds of this match, and that somewhere he's not going to go, and that he was where Regal put him from obscurity. So I have to say, like, actually I really like this promo, and I think Claudio is correct. Dax will eventually win singles gold. I just don't think it's going to be off of anytime soon. Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby. Surprisingly, never seen it. Really, that's the 2 movies you have never seen. You still haven't watched Zoolander. Now you've never watched Talladega Nights. Surprised you get the reference, though. So in the main event is a Ring of Honor World Championship match. It's Claudio Castagnoli versus Dax Harwood. They observe the code of honor and shake hands. And this was actually a good match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I was not expecting Dax to win in this match, but one spot that I like was Claudio with that superplex. I like that Claudio was doing uppercuts to Dax, and Dax was doing chest chops to Claudio. I have the movie, but I've never watched it. It's in my collection. You should definitely check it out. I like when Dax did the giant swing to Dax. If you caught Jericho on commentary, he's like that he still got PTSD from Blood and Guts, and he hates that move. I thought it was so hilarious. Jericho's hilarious on commentary. So Dax ends up putting Claudio in a sharpshooter, and then Claudio hits him with the pump kicks. And Claudio ends up winning this by submission after he puts Dax in the sharpshooter. At the end, both men shake hands. So overall, great match. I actually really Rampage was pretty decent tonight. It was okay. It wasn't as strong as it usually is. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. I think that it did have 3 matches, and it had 1 in-ring segment and a couple backstage promos. So it was very well balanced. Claudio Castagnoli is fantastic as a world champion. Yeah, such a shame Vince never saw him as a main eventer. The 6 out of 10 from Rampage, I think that's the lowest you've ever given Rampage. But yeah, it's a decent Rampage. Wasn't as strong as it usually is. But with that being said, that concludes this Rampage review. So now let's move over to everyone's favorite Friday night show of the evening, Friday Night Smackdown. I'm joking, by the way. I know not everybody's favorite Friday night show is Smackdown. Hey, if you like Rampage, hey, you can like whatever you want. Smackdown, Rampage, you can like both. I'm just making a joke. So tonight's SmackDown kicked off with an incredible 6-man tag match. It was the Brawling Brutes versus the Imperium. Wow, this match was incredible. I actually really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. The crowd was super into was super behind Sheamus. Now, the one thing I did not like about this match, I have something I didn't like. So, at some point, Gunther and Sheamus were gonna go at it, right? They were gonna go at it. Please tell me who was a wise guy that decided to go to commercial break at that instance. Who the hell decided that was a perfect spot to go to commercial break? They were going to go at it. They were literally both in the ring at the same time. And then it decides to go to commercial break. Somebody deserves a demotion for that. Or at least a pay cut. Who the hell was that wise guy? Seriously. It's like the one thing I didn't like. Oh, so I really like the little callback between Gunther and Butch. So you guys recall Gunther and Butch when they were Walter and Pete Dunne respectively. Walter took the NXT UK title off of Pete Dunne in an incredible match. So I really like that they did a little, they had a little moment in this match. Let me see. Fantastic opener match. That crowd was so into this match. And that spot with Sheamus delivering 25 beats of the Bodham on Kaiser was hard to watch. Kaiser's chest was beat red like crazy. Oh, yeah. It definitely was. I actually really like that spot. 25 beats of the Bodham. Yeah. I think that Gunther and Sheamus brought on the outside. Like, people were chanting for Sheamus. They were chanting for him. And how could they not be after that incredible performance at Clash at Castle? There was this one spot where, like, all the men were in the ring. It was Butch and Vinci going at it, Kaiser and Allin going at it, and then Gunther and Sheamus exchanging blows. But in the end, Vinci and Kaiser did the Imperial Bomb to Ridge Holland, and Imperium was victorious, which, if you ask me, was the right call. I don't think you could have had Imperium lose so quickly on the main roster. So it was the right call. I mean, the Volume Boots will be fine. They'll bounce back. But great opener match. Actually, hot way to start SmackDown. So you get a Bloodline segment. And Sami Zayn coming out with the Usos because he's an honorary Us. He's hyping up the crowd, and he starts talking about how growing up as a young honorary Us, he's interrupted, and Jimmy, I think Jimmy says, "You doesn't know how deep this bloodline runs." Sami Zayn says, "Deep AF, my dog," and Jake just stares at him. Oh my God, Sami is like incredible when it comes to the comedy stuff. And so they will him Solo Soika into the Bloodline. The inclusion of Solo Sika in the Bloodline is just great. He fits right in. Yeah, he does. And honestly, I love the fact that for people that don't know who he is, like what they did for Toxic Attraction, they showed a video package showing who he is. I mean, I knew who he was. I don't watch NXT, but I knew who he was. He was the Usos' younger brother. So I know that much. But I really like that for the people that don't watch NXT, they had that video package explaining who he is. So he says that Solo's here to stay, and Bloodline just got bigger and stronger. And then Drew McIntyre came out with the steel chair. Sami Zayn pushing Solo out of the way. and taking the chair shot for him. So you can tell Jay is getting tired of Sammy being with him. Yeah, definitely he is. And I think what's going to happen is now that Solo is part of the Bloodline, somewhere down the road, they're going to turn on Sami Zayn. And I think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to reunite to possibly take on the Usos. Maybe even take the title belt off of them. Who knows? We'll get there eventually. So next we had Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah versus Toxic Attraction. So match wasn't a bad match. I know some people are probably mad that Toxic Attraction didn't win. I personally was pulling for Toxic Attraction. I think that if Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah weren't tag team champions, I think that Toxic Attraction should have won. However, Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah do have a title defense on Raw against Damage Control in the form of Dakota Kai and Io Sky. So them winning this here makes sense because now they have momentum going into Monday Night Raw. Whether they win, that remains to be seen. But they have that momentum. If this was the old WWE, I think the tag champions would have lost. So then we had the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match. It was Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey versus Lacey Evans versus Natalya and versus Xia Li. Where the hell Lacey Evans has been, I have no idea. I think she's been in creative purgatory. This was a test run for Toxic Attraction to see if they are good to bring them to the main roster. They have done everything in NXT and have nothing else to do down there. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, they may have lost, but it would have made no sense if Toxic Attraction won while Raquel Rodriguez and Aliyah were tag team champions and have a match on Raw. So some people were complaining that this match was absolutely pointless, especially because Ronda Rousey won. Now, I did like the fact that Sonya and Deville and Ronda Rousey each eliminated, respectively, Lacey Evans and Xia Li. Pointless match. Everyone knew that Ronda was going to win, and that title's going back on her at Extreme Rules. So obviously, it came down to Sonya versus Ronda, and yes, people were complaining because Ronda Rousey did win by submission. But see, here's the thing: if you make Ronda the number one contender just like that, people complain. People always find things to complain about. Okay, you can easily just have Ronda come out, not do anything, not even have a match, and just make her the number one contender. People are going to complain about that. Put her in a match, you have her win, people complain about that. I get it, but you know something? At least they gave us 2 women's matches. You can argue maybe you had quality over quantity, and they used all their women. So, but yeah, I knew Ronda was winning that one. For sure. But I wonder what kind of stipulations she's going to have at Extreme Rules. So after this, we're supposed to get a solo Sikola segment. But I'm going to talk about that Ronda Rousey segment first and then the solo Sikola segment because I feel like the Ronda Rousey segment should have came after. All right, so as Ronda's walking backstage, she's approached by none other than Shayna Baszler and tells her good luck against Liv. And Ronda tells her that what's better than winning is revenge. And she's basically like, it seems to me like they're slowly pairing up Shayna and Ronda. And actually, Shayna and Ronda as tag team champions, I would not mind that. I think that will bring some credibility to the tag titles. And I think they would be a very dominant team. So I wouldn't mind that if that's what they're eventually going with. Then we get a solo Sikoa segment. And he thanks Sami Zayn for his help. And then Jay and Sammy kind of do not see eye to eye. And Jimmy tells Zayn that tonight is all about Solo. And Solo says that he's going to do it alone, but if he needs help, he will ask Sami Zayn for help. And then Jay says that they're all going out there. So Jay getting a little jealous that Solo was going to ask Sammy for help instead of his own flesh and blood. Then we get an 8-man tag match. It was a Maximum Male Models and Los Lotharios versus Street Profits and Hit Row. I still think Hit Row is missing Swerve Strickland. it's not the same without him. You know, they're missing something. Match was okay. Wasn't a banger, but it was okay. So let me see. MMM needs to be off TV or drafted to main event. This whole thing sucks with them. It's channel changing garbage. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of this segment. But Street Profits and Hero win. So we'll see. But I think Triple H is just trying to use everybody. We get an Alpha Academy segment. And Chad Gable says that this Alpha Academy was born on SmackDown. And that in the presence of the Alpha Academy, the crowd needs to shh. And that they came to SmackDown to ruin Strowman's return, just like how Strowman ruined their match on Raw. Chad Gable says Otis would have dominated that idiot. And he says Seattle doesn't know anything about superior athletes. They couldn't even hold on to their own basketball team. And Chad Gable gets booed. This reminds me of when Elias and Kevin Owens were in Seattle. And Elias says it's like having a basketball team in Seattle. And the crowd just erupted in boos. I mean, that moment was legendary. This one was good, just not as good if you ask me. But dang, like, who can forget that moment in Seattle when they got booed? Oh, that was... Oh, God, why do they keep handling Gable and Mike? This guy needs some mic taken away because of his corny and thank you. You don't like it? It's not for everybody. So I actually like that he said that. Wait, that was hilarious. Then Strowman comes out, and it looks like Strowman has a new theme. Oh, I really like the fact that he did a shoulder tackle to Otis, and then to Chad Gable, and he gave Otis a power bomb. So Braun Strowman here to stay, and looking just as dominant as ever. We get a Drew McIntyre segment, and he's talking about how Clash of the Castle should have been the biggest moment of his career. He should be standing here as champion, but he tells Solo that his actions have consequences. And so we find out that next week we're going to get the fatal four-way that occurred on Raw that is going to take place on SmackDown. Braun's new theme is awful. So then we get Drew McIntyre versus Solo Sikoa. This wasn't a bad match. But I was kind of thinking to myself, like, are they going to have Solo lose? They can't have Drew lose after he just lost at Clash at Castle. One funny spot that I liked in here was Drew McIntyre pulled Sami Zayn into the ring by the hair, which I thought was hilarious. Sami Zayn distracted the ref while the Usos beating up McIntyre on the outside. And, of course, the Street Profits come in to even the odds. And then the lights, and I like that they do this. So, like, the screen turns black and white, and then you see Karen Cross put Drew McIntyre in the cross jacket. And, like, then the screen goes black, and you can hear Corey Graves call for help. And that's how SmackDown ends. So, I actually like that they're doing that with Cross. They're rebuilding him up. You know, trying to... Where's that MIB thing that I have? It's the MIB neutralizer. You know, they're trying to erase his first run on the main roster. So just look at that neutralizer right there, okay? But overall, not a bad episode of SmackDown. I liked it a little bit better than I did Rampage. I will say that. So I'm going to give this... Granted, that fatal five-way match, there was one spot I liked, but it was predictable. And I wasn't really a huge fan of the 8-man tag match either. So with that being said, I'm going to also give this a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Both shows were decent tonight. They weren't nearly as strong as they usually are. If you take off the Maximum Male Model match, and it would probably be a much stronger episode. I probably would have given it 7.5. Or if Ronda Rousey didn't win, probably a much higher score. But that's just me. You can feel free to disagree with me and stuff like that. But with that being said, that concludes this review. And I made it to 500 subscribers. And I just want to thank everybody who has watched my videos, who has subscribed to me, and who's been in the live chat. Your support has meant the world to me. Thank you so much, you guys, for helping me achieve this milestone. And I couldn't have done it without any of you. So thank you. But if With that being said, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I will see you guys Monday after Monday Night Raw. Bye.